Today is May 30th, 2023. Um, Last night, Michelle and her groupies were outside my clients walking by. She's as crazy as a June bug. She's schizophrenic off the chart. Okay, now she's like, we pushed her to smoke and she's got throat cancer. I don't have throat cancer. She said so she did it to herself. And we went to the doctor and told him with who my dad is. He knows better than to ever tell her. And she'll eventually die from it. And I won't have to put up with her no more. I told all those people to leave her alone. They were down here doing all this just for me. All right, she's schizophrenic. No doctor would talk to my ex-husband's girlfriends about my medical records. I do not have throat cancer. I do have a sprained neck from lifting a client last year. And I sleep on a couch. And it's uncomfortable. And so it really don't ever get better. No doctor would be an accessory to murder. Nor would they break a HIPAA violation. It don't matter if... Do you know if she walked up to a doctor and said, I want to know her medical record? He'd say, who are you? I'm Dave's girlfriend. I'm retired Judge Pete's daughter. So, there's HIPAA violations. He wouldn't talk to her. She got cancer. Don't treat her. Be accessory to murder. Do you realize how schizophrenic she is? She's schizophrenic off the chart. Off the chart. Off the chart. Do you know after she pulled that stunt, everybody left because they realized how crazy she is. She's as crazy as a June bug. Crazy as a June bug. Those people that were down here helping out, the drug traders all there, they weren't helping out for her and Dave. They came down here to drug trade and human traffic and used her as a scam. You do realize that. And she cost thousands to go to jail. Thousands. Over 200 to 250 in Ohio. Because of her, they went to jail where they were associated into the New York, the Michigan, the California, the North Carolina, Georgia, and the Pennsylvania, and the Florida group, North Carolina and Georgia, the Detroit boys, the Kingsmen from Texas too. They were their drugs dealers that they came here and ran a big scam. They weren't here to help her. My God, they weren't here to help her. They wouldn't be here to help her. Why? Because who gives a damn about her? She's really not that great. Nobody is. They used her as a scam to come in here and drug trade and human traffic people out of her. She's an accessory to murder. They came down here and used her as a front. And a lot of them ended up in jail. You know, my case fell through the legal cracks. And I'll tell you what, that's where my friend from the prosecutor's office, he said, Karen, he said, you know, if that agent that was over your case, he retired or something happened to him, you're probably sitting in a cold case file. And he said, and nobody else picked it up. And that's why the case never got closed. It just kept going. And they didn't realize it. It's exactly what happened. I fell through the legal cracks. See, that agent was too arrogant to look into everything. Let the police handle it. And he retired. But you know what happened about a year and a half ago? I went to the Canton FBI. And they were acting stupid about the case, so I started talking about the different police departments I worked at. Okay? Well, see, and there were people out in the hallway were talking about the case. See, I used to work for a bank. I'm not the dumbest, smartest person in the world, but I'm not the dumbest either. I can put your social in, and I can pull up whoever seen you or talked to you. Everything. Every account, including before you open an account. Who talked to you? Keep records. Automatically, you type in the computer, put their phone number in, their social, it pulls it straight up. Government's more advanced. They were talking about the case out in the hallway. See, that's the whole thing of it is. That agent was too arrogant to look into anything, to let the police handle it. Then he shouldn't have took the case. See, the drug traders and human traffickers and that retired judge pretended he was Will from the Canton FBI, impersonated a federal officer, and told everybody nobody was to help me, so they got away with this. But when I went that thing, I'll tell you what, I had a client out in Navarre. Within that night or the next night, her neighbor, where they had told them in March of last year that retired George P. photoshopped and date rape drugged everything before, made everything up on me. She's out there. After she left the office, they told me to keep an eye on her. Hi, girl. Yeah, do you know they watch the people drive by, scream and stuff? Do you know what happened by December 17th of 22? They got 17 human traffickers out of Starr County. By January 20th, 23, I went out with this one guy. I got a friend on the police department. They're using that case that agent opened with you. They're getting ready to take care of these drug traders and their human trafficking scam. And they knew about the Texas group in your case. I said, oh, the Kingsmen, is that what they called themselves? He said they went down to question him, and he killed himself. There's another judge in another state in this human trafficking scam. They're getting ready to take care of it. February 14th, they did it 800 nationwide. They've got 17, they got da-da-da-da. They've probably got over 1,000 people connected in and out of this that they've cost them go to jail. I told them all, leave them alone. Bring them back, bitch. Bring them back. You bring them back here and they start swarming me, there's going to be a lot of traffic. They want to join their bunkies because they were just down here drug trading and human trafficking and doing their dirty business out of this area in Ohio. They weren't helping you, bitch. You are just a schizophrenic girl. Because if they were helping you, gee, they're drug traders, human trafficker. Endless amount of money. They would just bought Dave and her a mansion. Moved off. They didn't care about her. They came down here to do their dirty business. And just use this case as a front. And the only reason they got away with it is those agents retired in 18 and 19. And I got packed away while the case was still going. And that retired judge lied to everybody he was FBI. And the drug traders were impersonating federal officers. I fell through the legal cracks like nobody should have ever. Get the idea. Like the Tuscarora sheriff said, you can never tell anybody not to believe somebody and not to help them. You go to jail for that. See, that agent, his behavior makes no sense. He could not have known about Pete's stalking tapes. Because if he knew about Pete's stalking tapes, then he knew I was being drugged and human trafficked out of my house. They were letting that retired judge come in and beat and rape me. They knew they were selling videos of me and Dave in bed and sex trafficking videos. They knew that they were taping in the shower, bathroom, and even when the kids went in and used the bathroom, they obtained and dispensed kiddie porn. He would have had to arrest him. And psycho bitch tapes and serial rapist tapes are not admissible against the victim. It's a right to privacy over the house. That's insane. Because could you imagine one of these retards walking up to a cop or an agent? I've been taping Karen unaware in her home. How'd you get in? We kicked in her door. You did what? We have sodium pentothal reports. You've been drugging her breaking in? Where is she? How fast would it take him to be nailed and handcuffed? Somebody crazy enough to say they kicked in your door and put up button cameras stalking you. Are their tapes admissible? No. The right to privacy over the house. You can't go in. And do you realize they have admitted to selling videos of me and Dave in bed and sex trafficking them? Do you realize how many years in jail they can go if somebody arrests their dumb asses? That girl said with my dad, who he is, we told them, told us they called and asked what's going on. We told them we'd look in it as if we're not going to look into this. Her dad's a retired judge Oh, and sweetie, if you think, yeah, do you realize Will could not have known about the tapes before? Because, like that one officer in Akron was talking to one of my other clients' neighbors and said, do you think that agent fell for the tapes before? Well, he knew better than to even look at them. Then he didn't even verify they were all photoshopped on her, and we have. See, so like Officer Reinhardt in Louisville, it'd be illegal to look or listen. Nobody had a right in your home. It's illegal to be in somebody's home no matter what. See, that's the whole thing. His behavior, when I tried to tell him about someone telling on me the night before, he called me a liar. He can't call me a liar. There's perjury laws. Instantly goes to jail. I told him they told him at that church. He called me a liar. Why didn't he ask for the church's number? They already had him impersonating me up at Advanced America. Huh? So why'd he call me a liar? And then when I tried to tell him about the guy that threatened to knife me at Giant Eagle that had tried to kidnap me before, he called me a liar. That's the Detroit Boys' kidnapper. Terry's seen him try to kidnap me. He took and killed Lori's family member, my one coworker, and took Marlisa's niece, and he's still a serial killer in this area. Made me beg for my life. You either say, was there a camera above that bench when you were sitting? I don't know. I try to get away from that freak. He's like, you don't know there's a camera above that bench. You say a lie, I'll put you in jail. It's like, fine, whatever. He can't do that. No coerced confession is admissible. You can't threaten to arrest somebody to make them say what you want. And then made me plead for my life, listed me informant for life, immunity for life. And even when you tell and then threaten me if I told you I didn't believe it was real. I thought he was a Riri for my ex-husband. So I Googled the office he said he was. I found him when Dave was threatening Dixie and the baby's life. And he had a list. We all thought he has a list. I'm working on it. And then when I seen the guy down the road, you tell those police up there to get a hold of it. We're busy. See, there's a point in time. You know, one of my neighbors on John Thomas Road lives about 4 or 5 houses down, a taller white guy with white hair. He said on February 25th, 22, he walks into McDonald's. I'm tired of this. Her ex-husband walked into a store in Ravenna. He was there. Told everybody he didn't want his wife anymore and asked all these people to help get rid of her. And da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And they all agreed to help instead of calling 911. Oh, and Michelle, if you think you're the only one, honey, when he's at work, he's not at work. He was with me every time, but when he was at work, he's not at work. You do realize that one stripper was around me and him since 17, and she was here during the case. Did you know about her? Another lady took credit for my bike since 17. Hey, I had money, had to come up with something. I told you. I gave that story of what happened to me. I told you. She showed up. Does he think it's funny bringing her here in March of 18? Yes, he thought it was funny. He took me to that restaurant on purpose to shove me in your face. He was manipulating you and your parents. Why didn't you just have Dave divorce me, sell Lennox, and you and him go off and buy a house if you wanted just him? Why would you hurt me? That's psycho shit. You know, even, I figure he probably picked her up at Christie's. He's probably going out to strip clubs. That's where you find drug traders and human traffickers. Or another strip club. Because he had to be going out in the evening. And she sure as heck isn't apostolic or her friends. And they were a set of the mean parents. And she was around 17 and 18, honey. You do realize that. He picked up Michelle in last week of May of 18. There was another girl in 17 and 18 because Christmas of 17, another lady took credit for my bikes. See what I mean? And then March 18, she's in the restaurant. So, you know, where after I was following around it, and Kaylee said, well, you know about Savannah. And I said, I know of her, but I don't know her. What do you mean you don't know her? She's a young blonde girl, too. She eventually married. Do you know Pam and Jack was following me around for a long time? Everybody said they were dating, too. Did you know about her? Did you know about her, too? What did you think about Kathy? He was supposed to marry Kathy. Was she a rouge and she was going to be dead, too? Huh? Did you find out about the stripper? Is that why they broke up? Or about Michelle? Do you honestly think you're the only one? He had 17 girlfriends in high school. Delano, I think it was Delano Eddy, or it was another man in that church right before this started, walked up to Dave in the vestibule in front of people. You think you're better than her dating all those women. I walked off. I was so mad. I come up and went, Dave, what's he talking about? You don't know what he's talking about. Yes, he did. He had several girlfriends. So 4 years ago, Memorial Day weekend, old heavy-set white woman. For it's my daughter he met in Ravenna in a store. It's for my daughter they did this for. Psycho bitch, they did not do it for your daughter. You do realize that. They did it because they came down here and drug trade and human traffic people out of this area and used your daughter as a front. Nobody cares about that psycho bitch. She needs to get over it in your family. Nobody cares about your family. And psycho bitch tapes are not admissible. You had no right in my home. Kicking in my door, photoshopping me, selling videos of me and Dave in bed, watching my grandkids go into the bathroom. You obtained and dispensed kitty porn. You're vile, evil criminals. Do you realize retired judge, where Dave admitted he hired some guy named Pete on his own, retired Judge Pete, to do that? And then to all those things that were happening, whereas they were date rape, drugging me, beating me, and I got a personal infection, and he was raping me. So where you're bragging they did this for your daughter, you do know that psycho bitch, your ex-husband was coming over raping me. Do you know what time the case started? They said Karen had a rich boyfriend. Uh-huh. And then they acted like it was that agent, Will, and said, Will thinks Karen's beautiful. Your husband was calling me his beautiful girlfriend. Did you know that, fat old bitch? Huh? Do you know where I had hand marks and bruises and heart racing and throwing up? After that, I only had marks, like an injection mark. Waking up in a foggy, hazy dream, a man walking across the room, rolling over and holding me. It was Pete raping me. They want to find him raping me? Pull the case. Pull the case. Pull the case. You'll find him raping me, and Harry was doing it before. So you can only make love to rape somebody so much without being attached. I was talking to my friend from the prosecutor's office. He said to get for them to. We were talking about these serial rapists. They consider their victims their wives or their girlfriends. So that fat old bitch bragging they did it for her daughter. Well, your husband was telling everybody I was his beautiful girlfriend. Huh? The guy said, well, we all know it's Will going over there holding Karen at night. I didn't know Will either. And I have not met retired Judge Pete. I've seen him. I know who he is. But I've never even talked to him. He's a serial rapist. So where your psychotic, crazed family that needs mental help, do you realize how insane you are? And these people need to stop lapping up the shit they keep dropping and realizing how vile and evil people they are. Those drug traders weren't here to help them. They were here to drug trade and human traffic. Realize it. And they use them as a front. They don't give a damn about that family. They would have just bought Dave and her a mansion and told them to move on. See, that's where, if it's a stripper, okay? Do you realize how many strippers, married men, go in strip clubs all the time? They do their little lap dance, sex acts, whatever for them, and they don't care. They get one of them to leave their wives. They're great. Do they ever touch the wife? No. Do they have anything to do with the wife? No. They just go off and marry him and start over. Divorce him. Right? I know somebody who worked in a bar, met a married man, ended up, they had an affair for years, even had a child together. The wife didn't know. When the wife found out, you know what happened? They just divorced. That's it. People don't touch the other person. It's sick shit. You don't play with the wife. Oh, that girl yelling out there, she'll eventually die and I don't have to put up with her. You would never have to put up with me anyways. Dave cheated on me with a stripper and a bunch of girls. You know, if he wanted to go out and live this wild lifestyle, 60-plus-year-old, have his midlife crisis, go out and bang anything that walks, then you just divorce me and go out and have your wild lifestyle. Think about this. You don't touch the wife. That's psycho crazy stuff. This whole thing is. Everybody with the login, those agents retired in 18 and 19, and were my friends at the prosecutor's office. If those agents retired Or if something happened to him, they probably just boxed you up and you're sitting in a cold case file. Well, the case is still going on. I'm just sitting in a file room. It's exactly what happened. It's the only reason they got away with this. So where she said, I told Molly, bring him back, bitch. See how much traffic gets around us. They're the kind of people, you disappear, and they take care of you themselves. You want to bring your dirty friends back? Go ahead. See what happens.